Definitely, we have to work together. We are natural partners. We are the same people. We are just being divided by the colonial masters, and we should get back and work together.
Hi guys, it's SYNOLVE. I'm the president and founder of Black Exodus and ADITA, which is the African Diaspora Trade Alliance. And I would be excited for you to be a member of ADITA and to join me on our Black Exodus tour as we are participating in the Black Exodus movement to move our resources, to do trade globally. We are headed to Kenya in November, and I sure would love to have you on this trip with me and my husband. My husband and I founded ADITA and Black Exodus. He is always my supporter, and I'm so grateful to him. He built my website. I'm so very grateful for him, for all that he does and the work that he does. And so we're headed to this trip to Kenya, and I'll leave all the information below. It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip. You won't want to miss it. Do you believe that the issue of visas is a huge hindrance for entrepreneurs and for global investors doing business on the continent of Africa and with the Caribbean? Well, it's one of the things that Dangote and the participants of the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum discussed. And I've heard a lot from different people, including Wode Maya, who said that they've had issues and problems with visas and entry into different countries. Well, we're going to discuss this and talk about this very issue, and I want you to weigh in down below on what you think about it. The presenter asked the question, she asked about how can we remove some of the barriers, right? How could they remove some of the barriers of trading between Africa and the Caribbean and Africa, and what advice would he give to a business person in Africa or in Caribbean who wanted to establish a business in either place?
I know that Dangote has announced plans, the Dangote Group has actually announced plans to establish a petroleum export terminal within the Caribbean. Just quickly, what advice would you give? I know that you've talked about certain barriers that exist between trade and investment for the two reasons. What advice would you give, let's say, African businesses who are trying to set up shop in the Caribbean, or Caribbean businesses who are trying to set up shop in Africa, and how do we overcome the barriers that are present right now?
Well, thank you very much. It's great being with all of you, and thank you very much for the invitation. I think the first thing that we need to do is actually to try and create a corridor where there's an airline business between the Caribbean and African countries. And also we need to remove all these visa issues, because one of the biggest issues that we have as entrepreneurs is about visa issues. Coming to the business about, investing in the petroleum sector. When I last visited Grenada and Bahamas, I realized that they are really paying quite a lot in terms of petroleum products. It's very, very, very expensive. Actually, it is even unheard of. So we are looking at the opportunity where we can set up a terminal either in Grenada or in the Bahamas or any of the Caribbean, and see how can we help to bring this cost down. Not only the petroleum business, we are looking at also cement. When I look at what you are paying in the Caribbean in terms of cement, it's almost about 3 times what you are paying in Africa. And that is really very, very prohibitive. And, I think we need to team up together, remove all these visa issues, let us get to know each other, and, that will actually open up the doors for investment. So, and then also,
go ahead.
We're looking at also fertilizers. We're looking also at fertilizers, which is a little bit scarce. We are looking of, setting up a place where at least one of the countries will set up an area where we can now do urea, you can do NPK, because 37% of our own urea goes to the US. We have a plant of 3 million tons, and we're taking it to about 9 million tons. We are targeting in the next 36 months to be the largest urea producer in the world.
Madam Moderator, I wanted to react quickly, if you would allow me. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But there are three major petroleum storage facilities within the Caribbean, one in Trinidad and Tobago, one in Jamaica, and another in Antigua and Barbuda. But we've been buying extra-regionally, and we have not patronized Africa. Perhaps what we need to do now is to direct our purchasing out of Africa to get cheaper products, better products. So even without building out an additional terminal, there are already 3 large terminals. But again, it reconfirms the fact that we do not have the type of information flow, the type of database to know precisely what products are available, what facilities are available. So this is one of the areas that we need to quickly establish so that we know what is available and that we can increase trade between Africa and the Caribbean. Sorry for interrupting.
No, don't worry. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I wanted to really touch on the point of the visa, and I think Dangote and Prime Minister Skerrit touched on it. 2 business people were supposed to come here today to sign with us with an investment in St. Kitts and Nevis that is coming through the African Bank. And one of them could not be here because he needs a visa. That is directly already affecting how we do business. And therefore, this tells us in a stark way that we really need to get rid of the visa system. We, for example, have visa-free access. Nigerians have visa-free access to St. Kitts and Nevis because we have been welcoming, yes? We have been welcoming medical students for a long time, diving students and so forth. But for us to go to Nigeria, we need a visa. And again, I think that that is something to be looked at. We're in the process of discussing that with the high officials in Nigeria. But that is a real issue in terms of the communication. Just to wrap the point up, I think that there are different levels on which we can work. All does not need the direct intervention of the governments. Saying clearly again that once the environment is created, we will ensure, or our people will ensure, that the connections and the trade happen. So my point is, let's create the environment, the political will, and the opportunities for our people. Let our people be able to move, and let us handle the visa matter.
Yeah, I think, well, I think the president of Nigeria is going to come up with a very good visa policy to create visa on arrivals, because really I know it's been very difficult getting Nigeria's visa, but I think that issue will be sorted out very soon. I think in this quarter we will be hearing from the president how people can just get visas on arrival. I think that will open up. But my own dream is to see that how we actually, free up Africa in cement, in petroleum products, in urea, fertilizer. We will do the same to the Caribbean. I visited there. I don't have any visa issue, but other entrepreneurs, they do have visa issues. Once you remove the visa issues, we set up air connectivity. Definitely, we have to work together. We are natural partners. We are the same people. We are just being divided by the colonial masters, and we should get back and work together.
If I may, 5 years ago, Barbados removed visas from all countries in Africa with the exception of 5. And those 5 were just on the basis of security reasons. So I think that this is something that ought to be taken up at the CARICOM AU meeting in a month's time. And it is in fact the prerequisite for us to be able to have a linkage between the CARICOM single market and economy and the Africa Free Trade Area. What Aliko said in terms of being able to reduce the costs for cement, for petroleum, there are a whole host of other goods and services that the Caribbean carries a disproportionately high cost on, including digital and telecoms, largely because of our lack of scale. But if we can, and this is how this relationship started, lest we forget, in 2020, when no one would provide access to the Caribbean for therapeutics, for vaccines, for ventilators, it was Africa through Strive, Masiwa, working with the head of WHO, Dr. Tedros, that literally put us in contact for the first time with Afreximbank, who were the financiers of the Africa Medical Supplies Platform. That is how this relationship started, in a crisis. It is up to us to ensure that what was done for a crisis is now normal business going forward. Thank you.
We need to be listening. Are you hearing this? We need to be listening, because we as African Americans, Black Americans, FBA, ADOS, Pan-Africans, African Americans, whatever you want to call us, we's as a people, okay, from America, we need to be figuring out and listening how other people are doing what they're doing, okay? How are they doing? We need to study it like a case study to figure it out. What are they doing? How are they doing business? How are they building wealth? Because that's what we need to do. We can't just concentrate on our money, because the system here in America is constantly trying with every power that they have to cut our money off. Dangote, which is one of the richest men in the world, he is the founder, chairman, and CEO of the Dangote Group. And so that's what we need to be looking at. Global businesses, and how we can operate and produce and do business and trade on a global scale. It's time for us to move beyond only doing business in America. Aliko Dangote, his children, his 3 daughters are very involved in his business. Okay, he has made the Forbes richest list. He's actually one of the richest people in Africa. Okay, this is real wealth. He owns stuff. Okay, not just, it's not just on paper. This man owns multiple businesses, petroleum, refineries, whole refineries, where Harvard team sent students over to study what Dangote does. Okay, made the Forbes richest men in the world for his oil, concrete, and fertilizer businesses that he does in Nigeria. We need to listen, because I know you and I can have a concrete business. I mean, I know we can. I told my husband this the other day. I know we can. And I know we can do fertilizer. I know we can. There's so many opportunities to do fertilizer, but also to sell compost and other things. And so many of you who are farmers are doing this already. How can we be investors in the oil sector? We are creative inventors and amazing people. And so now it's time for us to stand on the global stage. And so we're going to talk about Dangote and his plan. So one, Dangote has announced plans to establish a petroleum facility in the Caribbean. He's based in Nigeria. He has facilities in Tanzania. He's announced he's going to be doing things in Tanzania. He is a global business. He's attempting to be one of the if not the largest producer and exporter of petroleum. And of course, the U.S. gets a lot of their petroleum from Dangote, along with the West, Europe, and France, and many other UK and European countries, because they have no oil. They have no petroleum. They have to get it from Africa or Venezuela or other places. They have to get it from other places. And so we need to see that a lot of the things that we're consuming don't come from America. They come from outside. One of the things that Dangote said that was the challenges, and we just need to be listening to, and that's the visas. Okay, so, there's all these visa and visa restrictions that happen in Africa. And so from country to country, there's a different idea, different rule for visas. Now, in Kenya, for example, they were trying to create the rule where there were no more visas, and they have successfully done that for many African and Caribbean countries. I think Kenya is on the right track, because that needs to happen. Now, for us, we're in the U.S., we can travel to many countries because through the power of our passport to be visa free. Now, you got to get a passport. So you got to get a passport. You got to get a passport, okay? And we have to start looking globally. We have to start looking out of our small region, because as we continually become blocked in certain areas and certain places of business, throughout the US, then we have to have a mind we're looking globally. Like, how can we trade? What can we do? Where can we go? Where can we create partnerships? Where can we come together? Yes, with mutual respect. Where does that happen? Where our mutual respect aligns and where we can do business and create generational wealth for your babies and my babies too. We're going to keep talking because Dangote says some other good things. Let's check it out. He also talked about having a corridor where there is a trade and opportunity between these two areas, between the Caribbean and between Africa. Also, Prime Minister Brown, if you remember, during his speech, he also talked about that because he said right now he didn't think they had the actual transportation systems in order to transport goods and services back and forth. And so that's something we need to be thinking about. Like, if we're going to trade on the continent, we're going to do business with the continent, with the Caribbean, where do we need to establish offices? Where do we need even establish our production centers? Where do we need to establish them? I can tell you for sure and for true, having looked at Grenada, having looked at Barbados, having looked at several Antigua and Barbuda and several countries throughout Africa, including Kenya, the Gambia. I've looked at Burkina Faso and Ghana and several other countries. I can tell you that it's cheaper to do production in Africa and in the Caribbean than it is to do here in America. Let's just talk about rental prices, right? For having a warehouse. Let's just talking about a warehouse build. Like, oh my gosh, like this stuff here in the West is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You're starting at $1 million in many areas. So, but then you also have to pay these export and import fees. And so what our leaders did when they felt that their backs were against the wall, what did they do? They traveled. Malcolm X traveled overseas. He did a trip to Mecca. Did you not know? Malcolm X traveled. He traveled and met with other leaders, talked to other people. We have to do the same. We have to be willing and open enough to travel, open enough to open our eyes to see beyond just our little small area here in the West. We have to open ourselves up and see that we are born of the Most High. We are people of the Son, and we are people filled with talent and grace and innovation. And so it's time to produce and provide that innovation globally to the world. I hope that you have enjoyed this. Please leave your comments below. I'm so excited to hear from you. Remember, we're going to Kenya. We are headed to Kenya. We are going to Kenya in November. And so I would love for you to be a get to. I would love for you to go on this trip with me and my husband. Okay? ADITA. I'm SYNOLVE, the founder of ADITA and Black Exodus, which is a movement because I believe we are global citizens. And for far too long, we have focused here in America on a place where we are not celebrated. And it's time to be celebrated and to take our rightful stand along with our products, along with our music, along with our dance, along with our hairstyles and all of the things that we do, our jewelry that we make, our products that we create, our businesses and services, the way that we do business, the way that we serve people in our restaurants, our foods, all of those things. It's time for us to stand and take our rightful place on a global stage, and no one can stop us. So join ADITA. I'll leave all the information below, and also join me on our trip to Kenya. It is an investigative tour. We're going to have an investment summit, and you won't want to miss it. We're going to tour. We're going to get to the beach and have fun. You're going to see so many opportunities. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you don't want to miss it. All right, guys, this is SYNOLVE. I'm signing off. I love you guys so much. You are my heart. You really have no idea. Spirit woke me up in the middle of the night talking to me a couple of months ago about ADITA, right after the DEI cuts, because I was asking God, praying on my knees, crying, asking, what is it that we need to do? Please, what do we need to do to save our people? And Spirit began to pour this plan out to me about ADITA, and that is why I'm sharing it with you. I love you guys so much. You are powerful. You are amazing. You are wonderful. You are loved, and you are welcome here. Always welcome here, family. All right? This is SYNOLVE signing off, and I'm going to see you in another video real soon. Bye-bye, guys. I love you.